Good morning.
Hey there.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
Hello. We we just got through.
That's out there.
Now we can start. We just got through our second kind of break between our two series, our second standalone, which I don't know, I was just kind of trying to follow after what you started too, even last week.
By the way, I got another compliment on your sermon this morning by text.
Oh.
They weren't here.
Now it's in writing.
It wasn't me.
There's proof. They weren't here and watched it on the stream, and we're thankful that we have the stream. And
Yep. Very much so. Yeah.
wanted
And
to
shout
share
out
that.
to our band, because my aunt was in town from Louisiana, and she was like,
Oh, I know.
man, this sounds so much better than it sounds on the stream. Like,
Oh, I know.
like that's,
Dude,
that's how that works.
Anything
Like, it was
sounds
killing
better.
me because she's like, I was watching on the stream, and I was thinking, surely it can't sound like that. How do they have that many people going to church if it sounds like that?
That's right. All you hear is...
If you're a stream audio expert, please join our
No,
church.
the single voice is pretty good. But
Yes.
There's a lot of technology that goes into making
Yes.
worship, and all the aspects of that translate to a
And
stream.
of course,
That's
none of
right.
And
it's
it costs
cheap.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
anyway, but
Yep.
that reminded me of that.
we regress.
Yes, we regress.
digress.
No, and I think really what I was trying to get at, specifically one. So I was just talking about this last week with you. Standalones are just so difficult for me. I'm like,
Are they?
the Bible is my oyster, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So
I kind of like them.
No, sure. I was.
Do you like oysters?
I don't like oysters.
You shouldn't use that.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
know,
like the
right?
Bible?
I know.
Oysters
are
I don't
horrible.
even know where that phrase comes from. Like what? Like
I
why is it an oyster? An oyster is only good for one
because they
thing.
make pearls.
But dude, a little bit of hot sauce. And
Do you like them?
What? Dude, do you know who my parents are? Of course I like them.
Gosh.
Disgusting.
Yes.
But yeah, I had just.
I could have some right now and breathe in your face.
my gosh!
We might need to edit this. If we throw up, we're edited.
That's right.
This is second digression.
All right. Let me just say.
Yes.
I liked the point of where you were reading about Jeremiah, and he's telling them to basically live in the land. And I'm going to be honest, man. The last week, all the hate that I've seen come out, right? And yesterday, I watched a little bit of the memorial. Okay.
Yeah.
And there was a lady outside, and the caption said she's shouting, "I hope all your babies die."
Oh my
to the people that were showing up at the memorial. And I was like, how can people have this much hate? Like there were famous people that said all Christians were dumb and uneducated. I didn't do a boycott. You know what I mean? I just was like, okay, you can say what you want, and went on with my life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand such visceral hate that you want to go destroy something, you know,
Right.
shoot in a building, burn up Teslas, whatever it is. I just don't understand that level of hate.
Yeah.
And so, the honest truth, one day last week, I searched through Marketplace for fun, and
Sure.
the stupidest stuff shows up on my algorithm's got to be messed up. But what popped up was an off-the-grid cabin on 17 wooded acres. And for a moment, I was like, I'm in. I'm ready to get away from all this. I want to
Yes.
isolate myself from the world, right?
Yes.
And then you are preaching, no, you got to live in the world and be here you're supposed to be. So
That's right.
it was very good timing because literally, like lately, I'm like, man, give me the island, give me the woods, let me take Kathy and the dogs, and the kids have a nice place to visit, and I'm out.
Yeah.
So it was very timely for me.
Oh, good. Dang. Yeah, Mike, did you get anything from the sermon?
No. No, I'm in and out a lot.
You were here yesterday. It's on
Well, I'm in and out a lot on Sunday, so I listened to it this morning.
Yeah.
video. Yeah, that's what I would have said too.
I did. I was in the
Yeah.
prayer room this morning and
Can
listened to
confirm.
it.
Can confirm.
Was it locked?
No, I just saw the light on.
Oh.
I said nobody else in the world would be here right now.
So no, one of the things I really like about what you did, I think unintentionally, was read Jeremiah 29:11 in context.
Yes.
Because we love to use that one out of context. Now,
Yeah.
even using it out of context, it's still not far from being correct. Because
Yeah.
he's saying it to them, because God is infinite, he also says the same thing to us.
Yeah.
And so I do like that connection there of, and I don't really think you like hammered that home of like, here's how you read this in context, but it was good to hear the context of they're thinking, the false prophet's a couple years and we'll be out of here. They're trying to be very, at best, optimistic, at worst, manipulative. And so Jeremiah is like, like, kind of.
Yeah.
But I do like that promise of, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you. So when we think about that for us, that can mean a lot of things. But in their context, it's, yes, I know you're going to be here for 70 years, but like, just be there and trust me. Like, this is not to harm you. Like, there is a goal, there is a mission, and as we can look back in hindsight, it's the equivalent of being stuck in the wilderness, metaphorically, and being on the outside of life, of not being with Jesus and being in death, but saying like, I have given you a solution in Jesus. And so where you are might be tough, it might be a bad spot, you might feel like it's to harm you, but it's to show you that there's something better. There's life in Christ. And so, I think I enjoyed that part, listening to it this morning, and just kind of rethinking that and connecting, kind of by default, connecting those things to the new covenant, and seeing how history and Jesus, and throughout all of history, God is showing you examples of old covenant and new covenant, even before the new covenant was known to humans. And so, I think just kind of that encouragement. I mean, really what Mark said too is just like, which I think you said right at the beginning. I think you said it in the sermon, maybe it was someone else recently, but it was, he never promises to give us
everything
for life to be comfortable. But he promises us life. And so I love that idea that, like, if you're in it, man, if you're in the mess, doesn't mean he's not there. It just means you're in the mess, and he's right in the mess with you. So,
for a moment, I was thinking about, imagine, like, if you grasp that word from Jeremiah and you suddenly realize this is 70 years. Like, many of the people he's speaking to will die before they will see the restoration. Like, what does that do to your mindset? I used to have a friend, and older, gentleman, very spiritual, very great prayer warrior. But he was kind of convinced from some, prophecies and stuff like that, he would see the second coming, and he didn't. And so can you imagine if the Lord had said to him, "You're not going to see it"? What's that? What is that mindset? Like, even now, none of us know whether we'll see it or not. Some people don't want to see it yet.
Sure.
Like, imagine you're in captivity and you think this is as bad as it can get, and the Lord says, "You got this for 70 years."
I mean, too,
what a process.
Oh, exactly. And I think even too, thinking about that is, we think of our lifespan is over 70 years. Their lifespan is about 30. So not only is it just like one, like to us, that's like, okay, one generation, but to them, that could be like 3 generations. Like, you could have grandkids in the amount of lifespan and the life expectancy of that time period. And so it's just like, we do know that a few people got to see, the restoration and the rebuilding of the temple. But even that in itself, like, they started complaining because it wasn't as good. Like when they rebuilt.
But also
the temple.
think how instant society we are.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine telling anyone in this day and age they've got to wait till 70 for anything? I mean, it's, we're the only people that stand in front of a microwave, and y'all hurry up.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I was just thinking, what was that like to hear God say, "You got 70 years"?
70. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the big things why that was put on my heart so much is because I did just have a handful of I think all of us might have just had handfuls of conversations about the Charlie Kirk thing and the societal thing, like you're saying, like the amount of hate, the amount of just unbelievable reactions, both good and bad, to this whole thing. And it just got me going again of like, God is doing something. He's doing another moment where it's just like, get out of autopilot. Mm-hmm. Even though this moment happened to be a tragedy, there will be more moments to come that would be glorious, and there's going to be, and we know there's past moments that have been awesome and more tragedy, but this is just another one of those moments that I felt like I was just like, hey, just a reminder. It's a reminder to just refocus, and heck, I need that daily where it's just like, okay, refocus. Like somebody said it best. They were like, you ever just be like a 5 o'clock Christian where you just get to 5 p.m. and clock out of work, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I totally signed up for a different life other than this just normal earthly life. And you're like, wait a second, do I only clock in as a Christian when everything else is like settled, or when I get home, or and so it was just that whole be present thing is just, it hit me upside the head multiple times writing it, of just, like, and it's hard. How do you hope? How do you want a good future and still live just as intentional in the moment? It's so hard for me, like incredibly hard. And I think anybody just is like, how do you not get so swept up in the ways that the things that you want to see? But even more so, just I was just laughing because when looking at how to explain I have hopes to plan and prosper you, and I was just like, geez, just a couple centuries later, the whole nation's just going to be like eradicated again. Like, surely that can't be the plan that God has for Israel. And that's where the fortunate side of us is we do have the rest of the story. Yeah. And we see what's happening, what God's trying to do. And I just thought it was so profound in ways that I hadn't seen that passage before. And I was like,
I think too, for me, it's a reminder, partially because this is what we're talking about with student ministry right now, is like, to each individual, you're not the main character. So, like, Jesus is the main character. The best part is we get to be a part of the story. The story is a program that does like the Bible, then whatever, like 62 weeks or whatever. But their whole theme is essentially there's the upper story and the lower story. The upper story is God's redemptive plan. Nothing can change it. Nothing can affect it. The lower story is what we're in, and the lower story is obviously directly impacted by the upper story, but the lower story also impacts the upper story. And so there's like a marriage there showing like a connection between us and the Father. The upper story's never changed, but we get to be a part of the story. And so that's kind of what we're talking about in student ministry right now, is the two kingdoms, and that what kingdom are you a part of, God's kingdom or the earthly kingdom? But when you look at what you're talking about in Jeremiah, and you 70 years, and it's like, how, man, can you imagine? And then, well, just a couple centuries later, like we're going to do it again. And like, you just have this, the book of Judges explains this cycle of punishment and asking for redemption and coming back to God and then falling away again. And it's like, well, that's like the whole Old Testament. Yeah. Is this just constant, well, even now, but this constant back and forth. And I think we're
living that cycle now, but the Old Testament shows us how they lived it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's not like we've done any better.
Right. But we have a new covenant. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but like when you hear that those narratives and read those stories of, these people in captivity, and it's like, oh no, it's gonna be 70 years, and some of you are just gonna die in captivity. Like, but it's a reminder of like who I am and who God is. And I'm nothing, right? Except that God tells me I'm loved and I'm cherished. And what it's, I guess, for some people it might be like, oh, that's kind of stinky. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's nice to know what my role is and know that I get to be in a part of it with the Lord. Like, I get to enjoy that and be in connection. And so I think that's what I ponder, what I think about when I hear those stories is, if I heard it myself, it might take a little longer for that to sink in, If you're like, you're going to be in captivity for 70 years and you're not going to see the end of it. If it was my life, I'd probably mourn that for a little while. But
absolutely.
But it's interesting to apply that now to life. So
I'm glad you're teaching that in the student ministry so that they learn it now.
Yeah.
Dan Stone says
Well, teaching
in,
it and learning it is two different things.
in his book, Rest of the Gospel, he teaches it like this: above the line and below the line.
Yeah.
But he says your life actually reaches above the line. You just don't see that part.
Yeah.
So that's how Paul can say you're a holy, blameless, seated in the heavenlies. You're seeing the below the line part, which is not perfect.
Yeah.
But you're above the line part. And like you said, the story above the line is set, doesn't change.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like
Yeah, I mean,
Romans 7.
even taking that message farther, how Paul explains it, and I was thinking really too is like that acceptance piece. I think just hit home for me, and it kind of stuck off the page to me when I was reading about be where you're at, and it just felt like the Lord was just like, that's the grieving. It's the grieving cycle, and He's like teaching them how to grieve. And yes, we have the science of grief now, and we have the stages and all that. But it's like reading it on the page where it's just like, hey, like bring yourself into acceptance. And even Paul, when he goes into the, hey, I've learned how to be content in all circumstances. It's just there's a level of, and I think the word that we would have for it is surrender, right? If we get to a place of surrender, that's that place of acceptance. That's that place where we are just open vessels. We're just open to whatever the Lord has for us, whether it be good, whether it be tough, whether it be easy or tough, and such. But I kept on thinking how that message keeps pushing into the Bible, and just started to see how Paul harps on that so much. Like that whole content verse is just, I've been through the ringer. And you look at Paul, and I think we look at that too of like, man, I want that kind of faith. I want to be able to go into a prison or something. And then we do hit a tough moment and we're like hit with that choice. It's like, are we going to go through the process and get to a point where it's just like, hey, this is my present. This is my moment. This is where I'm at, no matter what the circumstance may be. Can the Lord still move into that? And learning how to continually trust the Lord is so stinking difficult. Yeah. But then also and we've talked about it multiple times in this room, like how many moments do we know of people who have walked through cancer and totally horrible things and then walked out and said, that's the best thing that's ever happened for me. That's the best thing that ever happened for my faith. And it just is the temptation to just divert away from anything bad and avoid anything painful as hard as possible is just so, we rarely get to see that. And I think it was just right there of like, just accept. Just live in a constant state of acceptance, no matter what that be.
We so naturally want to avoid anything difficult or painful.
Anything.
That we almost rob ourselves. You know, because you go back to those stories. We had a gentleman here years ago, and he had walked a tough path in his life and had become successful. All of those adversities built who he was. So one day he's saying, I want to make sure my child doesn't go through any of these. I said, you know what? I understand what you're saying. But you just the other day said all those things made you. So if you shielded your child from every difficulty or tough situation, would they in the end be successful like you, or would they be just the opposite?
Dang.
So I was like, we all want to do that. Yeah. But in the end, are we doing a disservice sometimes, you know, by, I guess you'd say, pulling someone out of the process?
Sure. I mean, it's like the whole conversation of the helicopter parent, or even now it's like the lawnmower parent. I don't know if you guys have heard that one.
I have not heard that one.
Yeah, snowplow parent. Yeah. The helicopter parent is the one that kind of just hovers, right? Yeah. But the lawnmower is like, I'm gonna get your life snowplow. I'm a snowplow lawnmower. I'm gonna shave down your entire life so that there is no problems. You'll never hit a rock. You'll never hit anything. Yeah. And Maddie was reading a book that it was so good. She was just like, we were reading on the couch or something, and she was like, and I was like, oh, what'd you read? Like, so one of us every now and then will be reading and just be like, dang, and then we'll have to read it. But the line was just like, you cannot take your kid's testimony from them. And I was just like, ooh.
Good line.
Ooh, like you can't take their testimony, no matter what that may be. And so it's like, trying to eliminate all problems is so unrealistic because one, that's just going to create other problems. But then two, it's just like, how do you assess, and not even just in a kid way, like, I mean, in our role is to help people. What's the line, right?
Yeah.
Like at what point, or just in a friendship and stuff, like always wrestle with that. Like what's the line? When do you over assert? When do you not assert? Like, it's just that line came back to it though. Like, you can't rob people of their testimony and how God's going to use it, because that just puts a higher level of trust in God that, oh yeah, I'm not in control of your life. And I think there's so much pressure because we have such a pain avoidant, high joy, pleasure seeking culture. It's like we need to do everything we can to make sure that people even know. And I've even felt pressure, I feel like, sometimes in trying to walk people through Christianity, even like early stages of Christianity. It's like you almost have to sell people like, it's not always going to be this way. It's not always when I feel like Paul would just be like, no, like you're going to go through some rough things. And I'm like, no, I promise it gets better. like it is better, but it's a different kind of better in a way that you have to experience it. But yeah, like selling people like, no, there's good things. But yeah. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Micah?
Yeah. What?
Any more since
No,
you watched
I'm
it
good.
this morning?
It's fresh in your brain.
You're the freshest of the three of us.
No, I like the acceptance. I like the description of that grief, and I think I was trying to think of a word, and surrender was the word I was trying to like connect the dots with in my brain. But yeah, just surrendering. Like, I mean, you can only go so far as a human in anything, but the Lord's like, I've done the work for you, so surrender to me.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus, not me. Don't pull that clip out of context.
Surrender to Micah.
That would be a fun clip to pull out.
Yeah. Micah,
Surrender.
Micah teaches surrender
how do you feel
to
about that
Micah.
when you quote
Only me.
scripture and then you're like when I think about it in communion, when he's like, do this in, when I actually say do this in remembrance of me, I always feel like I have to say Jesus instead of me.
100%. Do this in
Like-
remembrance of Micah
Yeah. Do this in remembrance of
and all that he's
Jesus.
done.
Jesus.
Well,
Do people like, I wonder if people, like, my thought is like, if someone's kind of checked out and then all they hear is the phrase, do this in remembrance of me, are they like,
Well, they will now.
maybe it makes them check back in. So.
yeah.
That's
like,
right.
Did Micah
That's good.
just say?
Yeah.
But one more
30 years
standalone.
ago, we never had to
Yeah.
worry about would they take that clip,
Yeah.
you know.
That's,
Nah,
well, I don't
yeah,
think about
exactly.
It, yeah, that's true. I don't think about it as a
30
clip.
years
I just
ago,
think
we
about
just
it in
said
general.
whatever.
You can
Yeah.
clip anything. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
was documented.
Yeah.
Prove
We've
it.
thrown
Now
all the
everything is.
We've thrown all the cassettes away.
That's right. Well, one more standalone. You have an idea where you're going?
I've got a couple, so we're going to see which one
Sweet.
wins.
I love it.
Yeah.
The old flip of a coin.
Yep.
But
Plus, we're waiting to
Casting
see.
lots.
Plus, we're waiting to see if the rapture happens.
That's also
Wednesday.
true.
Isn't it
Oh, it's
Wednesday?
supposed to
is
be
that
Wednesday?
supposed to be the next one?
Isn't it the
I hope so.
25th?
The next train go by?
Well,
Why this
I
one?
think.
Wait, by Mark's childhood logic, it can't be because someone thinks it is.
Yeah. Well, so here's the deal.
Do you remember the stories he would
Tomorrow.
tell? He'd always say
It's
like,
either supposed to be tomorrow or the 25th. I'm trying to remember.
Why? Is
the
there a
internet's
reason?
a buzz with it coming, but tomorrow is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah,
Oh.
and and if I butchered that word, don't write me. I don't care. But it goes
or write him,
Yeah.
he'll ignore it.
Do it
Actually,
only
he'll
because he
respond cool.
So it
cares.
goes through. It's the Feast of Trumpets.
Oh.
And so it's if you believe that Jesus was born on Tabernacle, he fulfilled Tabernacle, right?
Mhm.
He fulfilled Passover, first fruits, unleavened bread, and Pentecost, right?
Yeah.
So the return feast would be trumpets. Then following trumpets is the days of awe, and then you come to Yom Kippur, which would be the
Day of Atonement.
So
Yeah.
for some reason, people are picking this year. I don't know what events particularly brought up this year. I haven't watched all the videos, but there's a lot of internet chatter on it.
Ooh. All right.
do it.
Well,
And I
Do
don't
it,
mean that
lady.
as smart aleck as it sounds, but if we're not here next week,
that's right. Or we
If
might
one
be
of
here
us
next
is-
week. We might be here next week,
I
and
hope
that's
one
a
of-
different problem.
Yeah, one of us is here and you're all
I
gone.
hope one of us is
That's
here.
right. Well, I will say see you next
Do it-
week,
do
but
it, lady.
Jesus
Hopefully.
says don't even
Lord
know
willing.
what
How about
tomorrow
that?
happens.
Lord willing, we'll see you next
That's
week.
right.
In the creek down south.
Yeah.
So that,
Well, have a great week, and we'll see you.
you're loved, and there's nothing you can do about it.